Good morning, everyone. This is the assessment briefing for the Faith Action Report, which is the second assessment of term three. Hopefully, I've set everything up right, and you can see on the screen that I have the Faith Action Report task summary open. I'm going to quickly go through it, and it's pretty straightforward. So the description is you need to write a 1,000-word faith action report discussing how you are living or aspiring to live a life of faith. The report should be written in a style that could be published, e.g., in a magazine or a church website, as a personal testimony, an inspirational article, even a blog post, whatever you like. Additionally, you need to connect this discussion of faith and prayer to a specific area or endeavor that you're involved in or interested in, based on your belief in what the Bible talks about. This could include areas such as strengthening family bonds, addressing homelessness, reaching out to people of different faiths, blah, blah, blah. So two things there. First is the style and the content. So the style, it talks about a Christian magazine or a website or a personal testimony, something that could be published. Look, it's not a huge thing for me that I'm going to be pedantic about. I don't think anybody signed up to a Cert 4 in Christian ministry and theology wanting to really focus on how to publish stuff in a Christian magazine. But a lot of students last year, they did go the extra mile, and they put pictures, they put their content in columns like it was in a newspaper. Some just put it, as a blog post with a colorful title. Don't stress too much about that. Just write your 1,000 words, and then at the end, whatever you want to do to make it look like it could be published somewhere, I'm not going to care too much. The second thing is the content. So we're relating this to a specific area or endeavor that you are involved in or interested in. So, if youth ministry is something you're passionate about, then you're going to talk a lot about youth ministry in this assessment. If kids ministry, if missions, if homelessness, if worship ministry, preaching, small group leadership. There are so many different areas of ministry, stuff that I haven't even mentioned just there. Raising a Christian family or something that you think God has called you to do, then you need to talk about that in this assessment. My advice, just pick one. Okay. So you must share how you are living a life of faith. You must discuss the purpose and history of Christian spiritual practices relating to faith and prayer. So what you've got to do there is you need to use three sources of information connected to at least one of the following: your local church, the church denomination you belong to, or any Christian minister or ministry organization. My advice for that, you can use the church website. You can use the What We Believe page on the Australian Christian Churches website. Anything that's got some information anywhere about how we express our faith in our denomination or as a Pentecostal church or whatever it is, use that. Make sure you use three sources. You need to give a brief description of a specific area or endeavor that you're involved in. So, like I said, if it's youth ministry, give a brief description of that and how you're involved. Express your aspirations and plans. Where are you going with that? Are you just happy to serve on a Friday night and that's it? Or do you believe God's called you to more in that area? What's your vision for yourself in that area? You need to emphasize the importance of faith and prayer in that particular area. So the words faith and prayer are coming up a lot. Remember, we did 2 weeks on prayer. We're doing 2 weeks on faith. This faith action report, in essence, is you talking about how those things are active in your life and can be more active in your life as you pursue your ministry. Identify at least 3 things you can do to strengthen your faith. And include at least 3 Bible references and reference at least 3 other sources of credible information. So I don't know if you've been counting there, but that's 9 sources or 9 references, I should say, that you need in this assessment. You need 3 Bible references, so you need to quote at least 3 verses. You need 3 sources of information connected to our local church or denomination or a ministry organization that you're part of. And you need 3 other references from a Bible commentary, a dictionary, a website, something like that. So let's put it all together. What's it going to look like if I go down here? You're going to do 1,000 words. It's not that much. You've done 500 words, and most of you have complained that you can't fit everything in. You're going to find 1,000 words you still can't fit everything in. So at the start, you want to discuss broadly what living a life of faith is. You want to discuss your local church, denomination, and ministry that you're part of, how they talk about expressing their faith. What is expressing our faith, and how does prayer play a role in our church? What do we say about our faith? What does our denomination say, what we believe, how we live it out, how we express it? You're going to waste a couple of hundred words there. You're going to provide a brief description of the area then. So after talking generally about faith and our denomination, you're going to narrow down to yourself and describe a description of the area or the place where you're involved in ministry, which relates to Christian faith. So I'm involved in kids ministry. This is what I do. This is how it is an expression of my faith. You're going to discuss your aspirations and plans for yourself in that area, where you see yourself going, where you want to be going with that, whether you want to be a missionary in deepest, darkest Africa or something like that. You're going to emphasize how faith and prayer are going to play a role, not only in what you have been doing, but in what you will be doing and where you want to go. You know, how is your prayer life going to impact that? Why is it important to have faith? How are you going to express it in those areas? And then your references. You're going to have those 3. Hang on, sorry, before that. You're going to have 3 strategies to strengthen faith in relation to that specific area. So here's the importance of faith and prayer as I go forward. And here's my 3 strategies to build my faith and strengthen my faith as I go forward. That could be daily Bible reading. That could be listening to preachers of faith. That could be making sure you stay connected to a believing community, whatever it is, okay? So then your references, you're going to have your 3 Bible verses, your 3 other sources of information, and your 3 sources of information from our local church or denomination, all up 1,000 words. Look, if you're a beautiful writer, you love writing, you're going to enjoy this task because you're going to get creative with it. You're going to make it sound like it is a proper church article, a proper news magazine. You're going to have introductions and beautiful headings, and it's going to be in those columns that you see in the newspaper. Go ahead, please. Be excellent. Do it as best you can. If that's not you, still be excellent, but focus on the content. You know, tick off all these boxes, get from the start to the finish, and however it comes in, it comes in. I'm not going to stress too much about the presentation. To me, the content is more important. Okay, I'll upload this. You'll get the link today. If you have any questions, call me, text me, email me. This is due in 2 weeks, so have fun.